what's good out there, world? Welcome to this edition of Smoking and Baking with Trademark. And today, I'm going to be baking for you a homemade, made from scratch lemon pound cake, and ingredients are as follows. So right here, I have 3 cups of Swan's Down cake flour. Now, if you want to use all-purpose flour, you can. Right here, I have 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Now, this is a substitution because I didn't have none in the refrigerator. So what I did was I used 1/4 cup of unsalted butter, melt that in the microwave, let it cool off, and I added 3/4 cups of whole milk. Stir it up, whisk it up like for a minute, and you got yourself some homemade heavy whipping cream. I'm also going to be using 3 cups of white sugar. Right here, I have 6 eggs at room temperature. I'm going to be using the zest and also the lemon juice from this 1 lemon. Also, I'm going to be using 8 ounces of cream cheese. And right here, I have 3 sticks of butter at room temperature. And to flavor my cake, I have some lemon extract, and I'm going to be using like 1/8 of a teaspoon and another 1/8 of a teaspoon of this vanilla extract. Now, this is optional. This is some yellow food coloring right here, and I just use this to make my cake a little extra yellow so it can give off that lemony effect. Now, my utensils right here, I have my sifter, I have my lemon zest, and also my lemon squeeze so I can get my fresh lemon juice. I'm also going to be using my bundt pan, and I'm going to use some of this pan baking spray for that easy release. And to cook everything, right here I got my stand mixer with my paddle attachment. So once again, here are the ingredients that I'm going to be using to make this homemade, made from scratch pound cake. Now, let's get to baking. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to sift my 3 cups of Swan's Down cake flour. And remember, if you want to use all-purpose flour, you can. Now, since we got all the flour sifted, we're just going to set this aside. Before I do that, I'm just going to mix it. So now I'm going to add my 1 cup of heavy whipping cream into this bowl. And I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of pure lemon extract. And I'm going to add in 5 drips of the yellow food coloring. And give this a mix. And see how it turned it yellow. So now I'm going to set this aside along with the flour. And I'm going to use the flour, and I'm going to also use the heavy whipping cream mix, and I'm going to use this simultaneously when I'm mixing my cake. So let's get to the next step. So now we're ready to cream our next 3 ingredients. I'm going to use 3 sticks of unsalted butter, and it's at room temperature. And we just want to add that on into the mixing bowl. I'm also going to add 8 ounces of cream cheese, also at room temperature. And I'm also going to add 3 cups of white sugar. So I'm going to put my mixer down, and I'm going to start it off on a low speed. And once it starts mixing a little bit, I'm going to put it up to high, and I'm going to let this cream like for 8 minutes. In the process of it creaming, about in 4 minutes, I'm going to stop my machine, and I'm going to just scrape down the sides of my bowl. I might not do it on camera, but do not forget to scrape down the sides of your bowls. So it's now been 8 minutes, and my mix is nice and fluffy. So before I go to the next step, I'm going to wipe down the sides of my bowl, set my mixing bowl down. I'm going to set it like on a medium. And now I'm going to start adding in my eggs one at a time.
I can't think. What am I supposed to do?
So my eggs are now mixed in my batter well. So now I'm ready to add in 1/8 teaspoon of lemon extract and also 1/8 of a teaspoon of this vanilla extract and my lemon zest. I'm just going to add that all in. Put my mixing bowl down and I'm going to just mix this on low because I really just want it to fold into the batter. And now we're ready to move on to our next step. Remember that one lemon that I zest? I'm going to now cut it in half. And I'm going to use half of it and squeeze the lemon juice into my heavy cream batter. And then I'm just going to give that a little stir. Now on to our the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our heavy cream batter and we're going to mix it with our flour mix. Now we're going to start off with the flour, then we're going to do a little heavy cream batter, and then we're just going to keep flip-flopping until it's gone. So let's start off by lifting our mixer up. And I'm going to add in 1 cup of flour and a little bit of this heavy cream mix. Now we want to start it off with a low mix because that flour is going to be going everywhere. And then once it gets mixed, we can turn it up. So now it's mixed a little bit and I'm going to gradually turn it up. And always, before we add in our next cup of flour, we want to always remember to scrape down the sides of our bowls. So that's mixed properly. And now we want to add in another cup of our flour mix, and we're going to add in some more of our heavy cream mix. So now I'm going to do my final scrape down on the side of my bowl before I add this last cup of flour mixing and the last of this heavy whipping cream mix. We're going to get this all mixed up and I'll see you at the next step. So off camera, I sprayed my bundt pan down with some Pam. So now I'm going to add my cake mix into the bundt pan. And this is going to be a pretty big cake. So now that I have all my batter into the bundt pan, I'm just going to take the back of my spoon and even this out. Also, I'm going to shake it and drop it like it's hot. Now my oven is already preheated to 325 degrees. I want to let my cake cook like for an hour and 10 minutes or until a toothpick come out clean. So I see you when it's done. In the crib, and here it goes. So I'm going to let this cake sit inside of the bundt pan until I can touch it. Once I can touch it, I'm going to flip it out and then I'm going to let it cool the rest of the way. But now, let's start making this glaze. So now I have my little burner sitting on my counter. I want to thank the person who got this for me for Christmas. You know who you are. But I'm going to set my pan on top of the burner. And I'm going to use 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And I squeeze like a little over half of a lemon to get this. And I'm going to add in 1 cup of sugar, and I'm going to cook it until the sugar has dissolved into the lemon juice. So I'm just going to give this a stir until it dissolves. So as you can see, it's coming to a boil, but my sugar has completely dissolved in with the lemon juice. So now I'm just going to remove this from the burner, and I'm going to set this aside until I'm ready to put it on the cake. See you in a minute. So now let's get this glaze upon this bundt cake. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take the toothpick and I'm just going to poke holes all throughout the cake. I'm going to also hit the sides. Now you see my bundt pan ate a little bit of the cake up, but that's okay because it's still a pretty golden brown. So here's my glaze right here, and what I'm going to do is just paint some on. And make sure I hit these sides. Also, I'm going to make sure I get in the center. Now I'm going to let this cool. Now I'm going to take some of these little yellow sprinkles and just sprinkle it on here. Just because. And there you go. Trademarks homemade cream cheese lemon pound cake.